Formula 1 returns to the Circuit of Americas for the 17th round of the 2017 season, the USA Grand Prix, and with the home crowd having two teams to cheer for, Red Bull of course powered by American Cosworth power units, and of course the Works Haas BMW team with the all new BMW power. The home crowd are expecting strong results from both of the teams, and are hopeful that all four cars could finish in the points come race day. Mercedes were first out on track once again, and first to say that they've fully ceased development of their 2017 Challenger and are fully focused on their car for 2018, to try and take Alonso to his third championship or Pascal Wehrlein to his first. Toyota absolutely elated with Kamui Kobayashi's podium at the previous race at Japan, and now stated that they've achieved their season objective of a podium finish, and much like Mercedes are now fully focused on their car for next season. Both Haas drivers Mick Schumacher and Lance Stroll were out putting in numerous laps in all three practice sessions to get everything right for qualifying in the race to put on a strong showing in front of the home crowd. Robbie Kubica will take pole position for the US Grand Prix, continuing Williams' good form at this circuit, and he's joined on the front row by two-time world champion Fernando Alonso. Josh Chiro will take his best qualifying at the Circuit of Americas starting from P3. He's joined on row 2 by championship leader Jean-Eric Vergne. Max Verstappen starts on 5th as the lead of the Red Bulls, joined on row 3 by Sebastian Vettel in the second of the Ferraris. Pascal Wehrlein will start from 7th, joined by 2008 world champion Lewis Hamilton as the lead of the Toyotas. Kamui Kobayashi will start from 9th, an impressive lap from Nico Hülkenberg will see the German get through into Q3, lining up in P10. Daniel Kvyat would unfortunately get knocked out in Q2, only lining up 11th. He's joined on row 6 by Lance Stroll as the lead of the Haas's. Stroll's teammate Mick Schumacher will start from 13th. He's joined on row 7 by Carlos Sainz as the lead of the Toro Rossos. Both Pierre Gasly and Rui Harianto were set the exact same lap time. However, as Pierre Gasly set his first, he get through into Q2, leaving Harianto knocked out in Q1. Daniel Ricciardo could only manage 17th best in qualifying, and he's joined on the 9th row by Thomas Aron as the lead of the Saubers. Giovinazzi starts from 19th, with Carmen Jordan running off the back row of the grid for McLaren Honda. Hey guys, Tara here. Welcome back to UniONE, this time round 17 for Season 4 of the USA Grand Prix. If you did miss the race last time out of Japan, definitely go and check that race out. Some crazy scenes happening there in the final few laps of the race. Completely manic end to that race. Now looking at this race, getting a nice panning shot here of all the cars coming through the S section. Of course, this is where we usually find our pace around this lap, through the S section. So maybe we'll be definitely looking to make a few moves through this S section as the race progresses. And also, what can the two Red Bulls do? Of course, all new, backed by Cosworth. Of course, Cosworth are pretty much our Ford. So American power, and are going to be a lot of pressure on the shoulders here of Kvyat and Max Verstappen, of course, because Red Bull's race couldn't go any worse than what happened last season with two double retirement engine failures. Of course, what about the two Haas as well? Because the only American team on the grid, the second American team to be in Formula 1, of course, with their BMW power. They would have the advantage in straight line speed, but you know the chassis and aero isn't quite there, so it can be quite struggle possibly for them to score points in the race. Now looking on to us, starting from P3, directly behind our teammate Robbie Kubica, who's just got Fernando Alonso there in P2 in front of us, but crucially we're ahead, once again, of Jean-Eric Vergne. Ahead of Vergne is what we really need to bring ourselves back into this championship fight, and of course ahead of Sebastian Vettel as well. And that's waiting for the rest of the cars to line up on the grid now, the midfield cars, the Toro Rosso, Saubers, and then Carmen Jordan right to the back of the grid. So Jordan, despite McLaren's good chassis and aerodynamics, just that long back straight in the second sector, really not favouring McLaren Honda's strengths here. That's waiting for the back few cars now to line up, and now coming to the 5 red lights, the start of the US Grand Prix. Lights out, and away we go. Can we get a good start from our P3 position? Looks like we've bogged down at the start. Got the two Red Bulls looking very racing behind us. Got the two Ferraris now going to go 4 wide, possibly into tail 1. Got Robert Kubica already clear now into tail 1. Still good 3 wide now, with both of the Ferraris going to be side by side with them now into tail 1. So we get 3 wide and quite racing. We'll be in jump by both the Ferraris to get a terrible later. They're squeezed out on the curbing. Now we drop down behind both of the Ferraris, which really is not what we need. Kubica is already romping away out in the lead in the other Williams, and now we drop down now into P5, trying to look way around the outside of Sebastian Vettel. We just can't find a way around the 5-time world champion through the S section. Of course, like I said, we do have pace through this section, but finding a way side by side, especially with these wider cars, isn't going to be as easy as it was last season. Now we've got Vettel going defensive to the inside line, now coming up into the hairpin, but he just blocked us off there, so there's no way we can try and make a dive. Around the outside, we get very close there with Lewis Hamilton in the Toyota behind. Hamilton almost could have wiped on the back of our car. That could have easily been a front wing off there for the 2008 World Champion. Now we're gaining a lot in the slipstream now. On the back of Sebastian Vettel, of course, BMW power, v Ferrari power, we've got the easy advantage over the Scuderia. Now going to make a dive up the inside now of Sebastian Vettel, coming up now into the third sector of the lap. Now we can try and chase down after championship leader Jean-Eric Vergne. It's already starting to make a break for it up in front, chasing down Fernando Alonso. And then of course Robbie Kubica already got about a half a second gap, I'd say, to Fernando Alonso up in the lead. So Kubica once again finding some really good pace. There's something about this USA circuit that really suits the Williams ever since 2013 and 2014. There's just great races here for Williams, of course, last season as well, whereas 2015 taking the Williams first 1-2 since 2003. Coming around the final corner now, look, Gianni Vergne getting very racy behind the back now of Fernando Alonso. Of course, no DRS yet, that won't be activated until the start of lap 3. No, he's just be built pure slipstream. And coming into turn 1, the AMG power v Ferrari power doesn't look to be much difference in a straight line. Gianni Vergne has to stay behind two-time world champion Fernando Alonso for the time being, but now we've got Sebastian Vettel actually falling away from us slightly. So Vettel really not finding the pace at the start of this race that he ideally want. I mean, chased down now by the Toyota of Lewis Hamilton. You know Hamilton will fight in any car you give him, of course, on the ultra soft tyres because he got through into Q3. So Hamilton finding some good pace on the air stages race in that Toyota. Now coming through the S station, because this will be where Red Bull strengths you'd think would be as well. Through the S station with their AG Newey design car, but it seems we still haven't quite got the engine power to keep up with the top 4 cars. Now Hamilton still once again no DRS activated yet, so it's going to be about pure Toyota power in the slipstream of the Ferrari power, because Vettel will still be getting slipstream off the back of our Williams, but it's quite further behind. So Hamilton's closer to Vettel, then Vettel is closer to us. Now gaining in the slipstream now on the back of the 5-time world champion. He's going to try and make a dive. Vettel goes defensive to the inside line. Hamilton tries to go around the outside. Could go very late on the brakes there. Can try to get around the outside of his teammate from last season. He just can't kind of find a way round Sebastian Vettel, and Hamilton just has to stick behind Sebastian Vettel for a bit longer. But the Toyota is looking very racy at this point in the race. Now looking a bit further on, got Gianni Vergne gaining in the slipstream now on the back of Fernando Alonso, coming up now into turn 1, but Vergne just isn't quite close enough once again to make a move on the Mercedes. That Mercedes just got enough power with that AMG power unit. Now coming up through the S section, we know that Ferrari does have a slightly better chassis and aerodynamics, but the Mercedes, you can't even see Robbie Kubica out in front. He's just romping away into the distance. Kubica finding some really good pace in the first stint of this race. Now we've got just following on with Jean-Eric Vergne through the S section. Just have to be patient here and stick behind Fernando Alonso. Of course, Vergne will now have DRS down the back straight to try and make a move off Fernando Alonso, and then try and chase down after our teammate if he can make a move on Fernando Alonso. Now Alonso going defensive to the inside line into the hairpin. He's going to compromise his straight line speed, compromise his exit onto this corner, because this is probably one of the most important corners on the track to try and get a good run down this straight. And you're getting a good view now of the DRS opening on the Ferrari. Now Vergne gaining in the slipstream with DRS on the back of Fernando Alonso. He's closer to make a move off Fernando Alonso. Once again Alonso goes defensive to the inside line. Vergne trying to find it, getting squeezed onto the curb, trying to hold it around the outside of Fernando Alonso. Keep it side by side now with the two-time world champion Vergne, keeping his nose right up the inside, going to dive it up the inside of Fernando Alonso, keeping side by side now through this technical third sector. Alonso just had to back up. He's going to try and make a dive back on the inside now, and then now moves up into P6, trying to chase down now after our teammate Robbie Kubica, but I imagine Alonso does not want to give up this position without a fight. Much like Hamilton in the Toyota, Alonso will fight in any car you give him. But since the Ferrari has just been the dominant car of this season, and Vergne already pulling away from Fernando Alonso, so Alonso will have DRS, but I don't think he's going to make all that much of a difference really. I don't think he's close enough to try and make a move back into second place on Jean-Eric Vergne. You're going to have DRS open now. You're coming down the start finish train. You see Vergne's even pulling away now, even without DRS, so some great pace in that Ferrari, and Alonso just hasn't got anything to respond with. Now moving all the way now onto lap 7, looking back to us now, this has pretty much been in the no man's land P4 of our ride. Now we're coming in to the pits now for our first stop of the race, going on to another set of the ultra soft tyres. So we're doing a 2-stop in this race. I'm adding a few of the midfield cars or the lower cars down, so everyone outside the top 10 might possibly try a 1-stop, going on to a set of soft tyres from either the super softs or the ultra softs. Try and make a 1-stop work. Now coming out now into the set of the ultra soft tyres, so we've pretty much committed now to this 2-stop. Of course, if a safety car comes out now, we'll come back in on the next lap, so we can still do an effective 1-stop, but we'll lose a lot of track position. We just have to hope that a safety car doesn't come out right about now. Now coming up now into turn 1, after clear. I know you've got one of the Toro Rosso now, trying to hold it around the outside. If it's going to be side by side with the Toro Rosso, but just with our superior downforce, despite our cold tyres, able to make the move in front of the Toro Rosso of actually Carlos Sainz. So Sainz is still, as it stands, just outside the points in P13. We've got Nico Hulkenberg in the Renault in P11. So Hulkenberg's dropped down one position from the start of the race. Well, technically two positions, because we're the first of the drivers to make our stop. So Hulkenberg is actually in P12. So not the best of starters. So Hulkenberg finding it's a good pace of qualifying, not able to transfer that pace over into the race, especially into this first stint at least, because starting on the ultra soft tyres isn't that actually that far ahead of Carlos Sainz. You know, the Toro Rossos and the Renaults are pretty evenly matched, so you're thinking that Hulkenberg would pull a bit more of a gap than what he currently is. Now looking at Robbie Kubica, the race leader, now coming into the pits to make his potentially first stop of the race, or is he doing a one stop or a two? Let's see what tyres here that Robbie Kubica goes on to. Once again, no one else out in the pit lane, so Williams doing a Bosch. Actually, once again, so Kubica going on there onto a set of the super soft tyres. So it looks like Kubica is still doing a two-stop, but he's doing the contrary strategy to us, so going on the super soft tyres now, and going on the ultras at the end of the race. So Kubica looking to be fast at the end of the race, whilst we're looking to be fast in this middle stint of the race, to try and close the gap to Fernando Alonso and Jean-Eric Vergne up in front now. Kubica coming out now into tail one, isn't going to be challenged by any other cars behind him. Like Kubica's got a pretty clear run, so one's going to actually come out ahead of one of the Red Bulls. So Kubica already a pit stop ahead of one of the Red Bulls. That must be Daniel Kvyat, surely. Can't quite tell from the helmet, but I think that is Daniel Kvyat. So Kvyat really not having a good race in front of the American crowd, because Cosworth power units are American, so imagine Daniel Kvyat would want to be putting on a much stronger showing than what he is. I mean, you know, Daniel Kvyat does have the pace in that Red Bull. It just seems like this just looks like to be an off weekend for the Russian. Now coming up, now you've got looking at Daniel Kvyat's teammate Max Verstappen. Verstappen, honestly, isn't that much further up the road, really. You know, it's getting in the slipstream now on the back of the car in front. It's like Pascal Wehrlein and then one's total. Now looking up front now, we've got Jean-Eric Vergne still doing the race, because Vergne will be coming into the pits at the end of this lap. It's still got Fernando Alonso right up behind him. Look at this, and you know, actually Vergne's pulling off the side of the track.
It's unreal, this car. It's now scandal.
Calamities for Jean-Eric Vergne. What's happening? Jean-Eric Vergne's out of the Grand Prix, clearly. But what's happened once again? Jean-Eric Vergne retiring from the Grand Prix. That's the second race in 3 races that Jean-Eric Vergne's retired from now. I'm sure that's going to fuel the conspiracy theorists now about Ferrari possibly sabotaging Jean-Eric Vergne's car to try and give Vettel a chance of taking his 6th World Championship title. Now gaining under the lap back now of Fernando Alonso. Alonso on the set, soft tyres actually, so Alonso trying the one stop now in the race. We're going green through the second sector, gaining a lot of time now on the back of this Mercedes AMG in front, because we're on the fastest tyres, so we just really need to be putting our foot down, gaining all the time we can, try and make a move on Fernando Alonso and try and build a gap, because of course we'll be making one more pit stop than the 2-time world champion. Coming up now through the sweeping right-hander now into the final sector of the lap, coming around the final corner. There's a huge crash there. Fernando Alonso's wiped out on one of the cars. I've noticed Alonso just smashed one of his wheels off. Okay, now looking at a replay of what happened to Fernando Alonso. He's completely wiped out the Grand Prix. I don't even see who he wiped out on, but his suspension just completely imploded. And it's following behind one of the Toyotas, what I think is Kamui Kobayashi. Kobayashi doing a good job in the Toyota to hold up Fernando Alonso. Now coming around the outside, let's go. The car goes slowly. Alonso just wipes out on that car on the outside line, just driving, trundling around the outside of the track. Now actually, what car is that? We're taking a look now at our teammate Robbie Kubica. Is gaining a position now on the back of Pascal Wehrlein in the other Mercedes. Now getting a good run in the slipstream now on the back of the German. Is going to pull to the inside of Pascal Wehrlein now, coming down the long back straight now into the third sector. Wehrlein trying to hold it around the outside. Going to be side by side. Wehrlein, of course, on the older ultra soft tyres, because he hadn't made his first stop of the race yet. And now Kubica gets past Pascal Wehrlein into what will be the net lead now of the Grand Prix. And Wehrlein already falling away from Robbie Kubica. Just brilliant. Kubica has some mighty pace in this race, so you'd think he would possibly go on to win this race. Now coming now through the sweeping right hand, and it's going slowly because there's something completely wrong with this car. So is this what happens? So is Alonso the car that wipes out on our teammate Robbie Kubica? Kubica trundling round to the fast sector, because Alonso just wipes out on Robbie Kubica. How's Kubica's car survived that? How is Kubica still in this race? It hasn't got any damage whatsoever. So Kubica's car proves to be an absolute tank. It looks to be a puncture there for teammates. So calamities for Robbie Kubica. It's unfortunate there for our teammate, because he would have easily gone on to win this race. He had some amazing pace in qualifying, and just proving in this race as well. He's going to have to come in now to make another stop now. And if I was Kubica, I'd go into a set of soft tyres now just to go to the end of the race. I mean, he's behind one of the McLaren Hondas, so he's definitely got a lot of work to do if they want to try and gain back anything from this race. So the thing is, that hasn't got any side pod damage, any radius damage, because Alonso took a mighty whack at the Williams, but it looks like he's got away without any damage. So is that Williams made of titanium or something? I've no idea how, but somehow it's managed to survive that hefty whack from Alonso. And I'm moving all the way now onto lap 16. We're currently leading the Grand Prix, but now we have to make now our second stop of the race. And now we will be going onto a set now of the super soft tyres. And we just have to hope now that we didn't get punched. Just hope that there is an issue with the super soft tyres. Let's hope that was an isolated incident for our teammate. We've seen a few cars like Carlos Sainz starting on the super soft tyres, and they had no issues whatsoever. So it looks like that may just have been an isolated issue with our teammate Kubica. But either way, that's a free position for us. A free position that we need as well to try and gain some points now. Because try and get some good points now back on Jean-Eric Vergne, of course, and try and take the fight now to Sebastian Vettel. I don't know what side Vettel's on, so if Vettel's trying on one side, we really have got to chase him down. And now talking of Sebastian Vettel, he actually is there on the set of soft tyres, and now Vettel is actually leading the Grand Prix on the set of soft tyres. Now we're trying to chase him down. Now we're in second place on the set of the super soft tyres, trying to chase down the 5-time world champion. We're not that far behind him, so if we can just put our foot down, seeing the pace that Williams does have in this race. Then we have P3, which actually, I couldn't quite see which of the Mercedes that is. I think that might be Fernando Alonso in P3. Then we've got Max Verstappen doing a good job in P4 on a set of soft tyres as well, doing the one stop in this race. He's got one of the Toyotas right behind him of, I actually can't tell. I think it might be Hamilton because Hamilton and Kobayashi's team helmets are pretty much exactly the same. I can't quite tell which is which. And then we've got Daniel Kvyat now catching up to Max Verstappen. So Kvyat's finding some good pace now in this race. Then we have Kamui Kobayashi in a second of the Toyotas, I think. He's doing a good job here ahead of the lead Haas of Lance Stroll. So Stroll putting a good showing here in front of the home crowd to try and chase down after Kobayashi, because Haas and Toyota in a pretty close battle for 5th place in the constructors. So any points here could pay dividend come the end of the season. And then we have the lead of the Renaults, which I think is Nico Hülkenberg. You couldn't quite see from that camera angle. And then we have our teammate Robbie Kubica. It's pretty much on the fringes of points. So Kubica on a good recovery drive as it stands so far, to try and get the good points to try and close the gap to Mercedes in the championship. And then we have the leader of the Toro Rossos, which I think is Carlos Sainz. Then we have the leader of the McLaren Hondas, actually Karma Jorda. So Jorda putting a good showing. She might have started last, so she's finding some good pace in the race. So maybe she's gone for more of a race setup than qualifying setup. Then we have Mick Schumacher quite some way down the order and really not finding the pace in this race. Then we have the second of the Toro Rossos of Pierre Gasly. Once again, Gasly just pretty much in no man's land of his own towards the back. Followed then by the lead of the Saubers, which actually Giovinazzi. So Giovinazzi finding some good pace in this race. And then we have the second of the Saubers of Thomas Laurent, pretty much now in another land on a set of super soft tyres. So Laurent doing a 2-stop and Giovinazzi doing the monster. So suppose strategy there for the Saubers. Now moving a bit further and got a battle now. Got one of the Toro Rossos now trying to chase down after one of the Hasses. So I think this is Pierre Gasly now actually caught up to Mick Schumacher. Now trying to make a move on the inside of Mick Schumacher, coming up now into the end of the second sector, start of the third sector now, and it's like Gasly makes the move stick there on Mick Schumacher. So Schumacher really not finding the pace in this race. So pretty much ever since his win at the Belgian Grand Prix, Schumacher's just been slowly dropping down the orders. He really hasn't managed to regain the pace that he had in that race, albeit look that he won the race, but still the one stop less. So ever since that race, he just really hasn't found the form. He needs to really find that form, try and take the fight back to his teammate Lance Stroll. Now talking of BMW power cars, now looking at our teammate now Robbie Kubica, and the other Williams are now caught up to Lance Stroll into the Haas. We know the Haas, the BMW Williams B team, so surely Stroll isn't going to put up too much of a fight here to Robbie Kubica, but albeit since this is Haas's home race, he might put up quite a bit of a fight actually to our teammate Kubica. So albeit he's obliged to let us pass, this is still full position. So and being Haas's home race, I imagine that Lance Stroll is going to put up a bit more of a fight to Robbie Kubica, also whilst trying to chase down after the Toyota of Kamui Kobayashi. Now we've got Stroll going defensive to the inside from our team Kubica, so Kubica really is going to have to fight now if he wants to try and get past the young Canadian and try and attack after the Toyota of Kamui Kobayashi in front. So now we've got the both of them will have DRS. Now Kubica pulls to the inside now of the Haas of Lance Stroll. Can try and have his camera gun now. Kubica's going to breeze past Lance Stroll, keep it up the inside. Stroll trying to hold it around the outside of Robbie Kubica, going to keep his side by side still, but Kubica there managed to get it on corner break. So fair play to Lance Stroll, putting up a massive fight, trying to do everything he can, trying to impress the home crowd in front of the home race, but still, ultimately the Haas is the BMW Williams B team car, so ultimately he had to receive that position there to Robbie Kubica. Now Kubica's already all over the back of the Toyota, of course. Kubica now forced onto this 2-stop strategy, which he was doing anyways. He's on another set of the super soft tyres, so possibly looking to go to the end on this set of tyres. I mean, if he can make this work, then it's still going to be a good recovery drive from my teammate Kubica. And now coming around the final corner now onto the start finish straight. It's going to be a drag race now because Kubica now with DRS. Kubica trying to make a move on Kobayashi. Kobayashi forcing Kubica there to the inside line, but it doesn't make any difference. Kubica going to find his way up the inside now of Kobayashi, going to tell one. Kobayashi can try and hold it around the outside in the Toyota. Going to be side by side. Kobayashi getting forced off the track there, giving him a poor race, but he just manages to regain his composure and keep it in front of Lance Stroll. But imagine that fight between Stroll And Kobayashi now is going to go to the end of the race. But unfortunately, moving all the way onto the final lap now of the Grand Prix, we haven't been able to catch Sebastian Vettel. Vettel on the one stop, on set of soft tyres. Actually, Pascal Wehrlein in third, of course, because Fernando Alonso's out of the Grand Prix. So Pascal Wehrlein there to pick up the spoils where Alonso's faulted. Now coming around the final corner, Sebastian Vettel coming to the finish line, and Vettel's going to win the US Grand Prix and take his second victory of the season when his teammate Jean-Luc Vergne's retired. So the two races that Vergne's retired, Sebastian Vettel's gone on to win both those Grand Prix and take 40 points out of his teammate's lead. And there you can see Enrico Bagnaia looking very happy with Sebastian Vettel's drive, and after the first stint of the race Vettel had, I'm not surprised they're celebrating that victory. But Sebastian Vettel taking yet another victory in his career and another victory for Ferrari. But in 3 races he's taken 40 points out of Jean-Luc Vergne's championship lead, so surely they've got pretty much neck and neck on points now, with us, of course, not too far behind either. Taking a look at the race results, Sebastian Vettel would take another victory for Ferrari, 6 seconds clear of ourselves, coming home in second as the lead Williams, with Pascal Wehrlein running off the podium in third for Mercedes. The Red Bulls will come home in fourth and fifth, with Verstappen ahead of Daniel Kvyat by about 6 seconds, so to put on a good showing for the home crowd, of course, and for Cosworth as well. Lewis Hamilton comes home in sixth as the lead of the Toyotas, with Robert Kubica getting back up into 7th, so great recovery drive from our teammate Robert Kubica. Kamui Kobayashi comes home in 8th in the second of the Toyotas, keeping ahead of Lance Stroll just about by about half a second. Nico Hülkenberg comes home in 10th, where he started the race for Renault. Carlos Sainz in 11th, and Carmen Jorda in 12th, getting a great race there for Carmen Jorda, taking home a very valuable point for McLaren Honda. Mick Schumacher comes home in 13th in the second of the Hasses, just outside the points positions, but he did get back ahead of Pierre Gasly in the end, and he comes home in 14th. Thomas Veron would actually catch up and pass teammate Giovinazzi for 15th, with Giovinazzi in 16th. Daniel Ricciardo, Rio Haryanto, Fernando Alonso and Jean-Luc Vergne all DNFing from the Grand Prix. Moving on to the driver standings, now Jean-Luc Vergne only has a 3-point lead over teammate Sebastian Vettel in the fight for the championship title, with us in third, only 12 points behind, so mathematically it's still a 5-way fight, but realistically it's me, Vettel and Vergne for the championship title. Fernando Alonso remains in fourth on 150 points, 45 points off the lead, but he's now only 2 points ahead of teammate Pascal Wehrlein. Daniel Kvyat remains in 6th on 119 points, 16 points clear of teammate Max Verstappen. Robert Kubica is in 8th on 98 points, with Hamilton in 9th on 79, and Lance Stroll running off the top 10 with 72. Kamui Kobayashi moves up into 11th on 43 points, with Nico Hülkenberg running off the top 12 for Renault on 40 points. Mick Schumacher drops down to 13th on 38 points, Sebastian Buemi in 14th on 33, Pierre Gasly 15th on 27, 3 points clear of teammate Carlos Sainz, with Daniel Ricciardo in 17th on 21 points. Esteban Ocon's in 18th with 18, with Adrian Sutil in 19th on 3, joins now with Carmen Jorda, but on virtue of better result, with Adrian Sutil taking that P10 at Singapore. Sutil was in 19th with Jorda in 20th. Now Giovinazzi drops down to 21st on 2 points, with Rio Haryanto in 22nd with 1, and Thomas Veron running off the point scorers in 23rd, leaving only Nico Carey on 0 points. Now moving on to the Constructors standings, and Ferrari are the Constructors champions for 2017, so congratulations to the Scuderia. They've been the dominant force pretty much all season, and now they're 89 points ahead of Mercedes, and there's definitely not that many points left, with only 2 races left to go, and you can only get a maximum of 35 points for a race for a 1-2, so only 70 points left on offer. And Mercedes is pretty much now in second place, pretty much going to have to settle for second best if they can keep ahead of Williams, because Williams we're not that much further behind the Mercedes team. Red Bull are in 4th on 222 points, pretty much in no man's land of their own, pretty much confirmed as finishing now 4th in the Constructors standings. Haas are in 5th on 140 points, but only just now, only 2 points clear of Toyota, who are in 6th on 138. Renault are in 7th with 61, 10 points clear now of Toro Rosso, who are in 8th with 51, and Sauber in 9th with 6, 2 points clear of McLaren Honda, who are in 10th and last on 4 points. That's been the US Grand Prix. Thanks for watching. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the race, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new, vote for your driver of the day with the poll link that will be in the video description, and check out the wiki for all the latest news on this season, a look back at previous seasons, and a sneak peek of what's to come up in the future. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.